Do you expect the new US administration to have a very different policy on Nord Stream 2, or will we see continuity?
Well, good morning, Anna. Good to talk to you again. Of course, I do hope for a change with the new President-elect Biden. But we have to remind that it was not the president who was asking for a sanction act, it was the Congress. And in this context, I think the Congress has to change the mind and the initiatives. It's definitely not good to see that additional threats on additional sanctions against a pipeline will be good to rebuild the trust in the transatlantic relationship. Europe is ready to have with open arms a discussion from my point of view, but it wouldn't be a discussion on a pipeline project. This is an economic project. It is what kind of political relationship and political answer European politicians are now going for. In this context, for OMV as a financial investor in the project, it is of utmost importance that we have not to erode the good investment climate which is needed to be invested into an infrastructure for a climate change program underway, because that's what is needed.
Okay, but specifically around Nord Stream 2, I mean, does Europe still need Nord Stream 2? Some people point to LNG imports and just increasing the supply that way. Is that a possibility?
Of course, there is a competition between LNG and Nord Stream 2. That's one of the reasons, as an interpretation, we might see these sanctions coming up. From my point of view, we have a program in Germany that they would like to switch from coal into gas power generation, and I think additional gas quantities are needed. In our analysis, if Nord Stream 2 is not coming, definitely we Europeans need to import more LNG, and that's my clear reading.
That is your clear reading, and where do you expect that to come from, Rainer?
Well, I think we will have the choice to contract new LNG, but most of it, I think, a clear address is US LNG, of course.
There's a lot of talk in Europe about the hydrogen fuel as a potential for adding into the European fuel mix. Where in the hydrogen supply chain are you interested in investing?
Well, it's a huge potential. OMV has technologies to produce the hydrogen, so that's our main focus. How can we produce clean hydrogen? I don't want to limit myself to renewables as a source, power to gas, that we produce hydrogen just only from renewable energy. I think we also have a skill set of chemical technologies like the pyrolysis, where we are going to split the natural gas into carbon and hydrogen. The main topic will be that the hydrogen will be produced without CO2 emissions, and therefore I think we should not limit our technological skill set just purely to renewable energies. But on the one hand side, on the other hand, of course, renewable energy. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to take us on to the chemicals part of your business, because I know Borealis, the deal you did with Borealis recently, takes you more in that direction. Do you plan to keep that as a separate business, to run as a standalone, or to integrate it? And if you integrate it, how long will that take, do you think?
Well, I think Borealis is the chemical business, and we have announced that we see more than 800 million euros of synergies waiting us. And if you would like to go for these synergies, you, of course, have to at least partly integrate Borealis into OMV group, and that's our major intention. This is going to happen next year, and I think we will convince our investors with big growth numbers, and especially we will deliver on these synergies. But OMV and Borealis is also a storyline to prepare for a circular economy. So together with Borealis, we will invest more into recycling of plastic waste into the value chain of chemicals and jet fuels.
We were reporting here at Bloomberg, Rainer, just yesterday that some key shareholders at OMV may be a little unhappy or uncertain about the way that the supervisory board has been supervising strategic decision-making at OMV. Do you think we're going to see changes to the supervisory board with that in mind?
Well, I think this is a question you should address to the shareholders and not to a CEO. All I can say is we have enjoyed a trustful cooperation with our supervisory board, and we prepare ourselves to continue such a relationship with our supervisory board.
And are you happy with the way that your relationship is evolving with the new chairman?
As always, why not? Do you know Mark? He's a great guy.